So okay guys, welcome again. So in today's lesson, we're gonna finish Unit 8. It will be the last lesson in Unit 8. So in this unit, we talked about recent incidents and we said recent basically means you. Incident, any kind of accident or events you have encountered in your life. After that, we talked about damage and loss. We said damage is any sort of physical harm that happens to your to something or an item, and loss if there is something that is unusable or taken away, then this is considered to be a loss. And finally, in today's lesson, we're going to talk about past events. Okay, what do I mean by past? Past, anything that happens in previous point in time, okay, or something old. So this is considered to be past. Something has finished, okay. Like for example, if you have graduated from high school, so this is past. This is a past that happens and finish at one point at time before. Okay, events basically like incidents, okay, any updates or any encounters uh, you have got in your life. For example, a graduation is an event. If you buy a new mobile, so this is considered to be an event, okay. Any measures things that happen in your life considered to be or called events. Okay, let's see our first activity. Okay, in this exercise, we need to give the approximate year of the first. Okay, we have from 1 to 10. I need the first date of, for example, of each event. So from 1 to 10 are events that happened in the past. I need their date when each one of these did happen for the first time. Okay, how am I supposed to answer these? By simply going to exercise number 2 and try to identify the dates for each one of these. Okay, we have from 1 to 10. For example, let's see number 1. Number 1, the Russian launched Sputnik, the first satellite. So this is the first satellite. This is the date of the first satellite. Okay, and we would simply look for a keyword about satellite, for example, maybe number 5. Okay, but before choosing number 5, we need to go thoroughly each one in order to um, uh, make sure or to assure that number 5 is the correct answer. For example, let's go back. Okay, number 1, we didn't talk about space station, neither telescope in space, man in space, space tourist. Okay, so from 1 to 4 are not the correct answer. Let's see, spacewalk, no, 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 no. So the correct one is number 5 because it is the only one that talks about satellite. So the date here uh, happened at or N5 on the 5th of October 1957. So we need just to mention the date here, or we can simply put the number at the end of each sentence. Okay, and let's just try to before that, yeah. Let's just try to go one by one. The first one we talked about is the Russians like Sputnik, the first satellite. Okay, this is the satellite. This is considered to be or called a satellite. Okay. Okay, this is a state. So in number 5, we need to put the date of 1957. Let's see number 2. Yuri Gagarin became the first man in space. So this is the date, the 12th of April 1961. Okay, man on the moon or a spacewalk. Okay, let's see number 3. Leonov made the first walk in space. Okay, there is a similarity between number 2 and 3, but in number 2, uh, this person was the first one who went to the space. Okay, while number 2 was the first one who walks in space. So there is similar difference between the two. For number 4, the first man, Armstrong. So we have 2 men here, Armstrong and Aldrin, landed. Landed. What do you mean by landed? Imagine that you are inside an airplane. If the airplane has taken off, it means it goes from this point up to the sky. If you reached your destination, then the airplane will land it. Okay, means it will be stationed at the destination. Okay, let's see number 5. The Russians launched lunch. So try always to look for the keywords. Keywords are the most important words in each sentences. What we are looking for uh, either can be a verb or the noun, okay, or the subject of the sentence. Okay, let's see. So launch the first space station. Okay, like gas station. Okay, something stationary that is used maybe for maintenance or to provide, um, uh, for example, uh, the source of power for example, a spaceship. So this is what do we mean by station. Okay, let's see number 6. The Americans put the first shuttle into space. Okay, let's see number 7. NASA sent the Hubble telescope into space. The first crew entered the International Space Station. So for each one, we have a date in front of it. Let's see number 9. The first space tourist flew into space. And finally, the Europeans launched Galileo, a global navigation satellite. Okay, global navigation satellite. Navigation is a system that allows you to uh, uh, give you the direction for your destination. For example, if you want to go to another city but you don't know its location, then you're going to use the navigation system that will provide you with the direction that would help you to reach your desired destination. Okay. Okay, let's go one by one and try to extract the dates from the passages that we have read. Number 1, space station, the date happened in 1971. Let's go back and see, check, 1971. So the first space station. Okay, we basically were able to identify the answer by looking for the word space station. Let's see number 2, telescope in space. It was happening at or in 1990. The first man in space, 1961. The first space tourist, 2001. The first satellite was in 1957. Number 6, the spacewalk was in 1965. While 7, man on the first man who landed or walked on the moon was in 1969. First shuttle in space, 1981. Okay. Crew to enter the International Space Station. It was in 19. And finally, the European navigation satellite. So this is one of the easiest navigation. There is one sentence out of the 10 that's mentioned navigation. Okay. And it was the last one, and the date was in 2005. So basically, in order to answer any kind of the similar exercises to this, try to just search about a similar phrase. For example, space station. I'm gonna try to look for the first anything had to do with the word or the phrase space station in a sentence. Okay, and exclude any other thing that had nothing to do with this phrase. Okay, so today lesson we have a new grammatical rule. The rule is about uh, the past simple. So we're gonna go through these instruction quickly before going thoroughly to explain this rule. We can use the past symbols to talk about past events. Okay, what do you mean by past event? As we said before, anything that happened in the past and finished. Okay, it has no correlation or connection to the future or to the present time. We can use the past simple with dates. Okay, so this is a very important rule. You need dates or time or expressions such as yesterday, last year. So anything that indicates a time phrase indicates the event that happened and finished. Okay, without dates means that the action of the thing that happened in the past is yet didn't finished. Okay, so this grammatical rule, it is vital to use dates, times, or expressions as yesterday, last year, when. Okay, because if we don't have dates or time expressions, then we have to use the present perfect. If you remember the present perfect, it can only be used without dates or time or expressions. Okay, or the dates are not important. For example, I have bought a book. I don't know when you did buy this book. Okay, but if you have a date, you need to change the structure completely and use instead the past symbol. Okay, so how am I supposed to use the past symbol in a sentence? The past symbol considered to be one of the easiest grammatical rule in English. We need at the beginning of each sentence, we need a subject. Okay, subjects like he, she, it, they, we, you. So there is no difference in the subject. All of them can use a verb without modifying it, without using s, for example, at the end. It does not require that. And also, we don't need helping verb in order to form sentences, as we can clearly see in this structure. For example, he went or he traveled there in 2007. Okay, there is no helping verb, so we don't have to put has or have here like the present perfect. Okay, for the verb, similar to the present perfect. Okay, verbs divided into two, as we said before. Okay, regular means that We only need to add ed and modify it what necessary to be modified, like the most of the majority of verbs in English. And if it was regular or irregular, we need to modify the verb based on its form. For example, the word went, okay, the base form of went is go, okay, but the past form is went, and the past participle, which we don't need to use if you have a date, is gone. Okay, as we said before, this is a list. We have a list of irregular verbs in English, and there is no other way except of memorizing them to be able to identify. Okay, there is no specific rule tell me that the past symbol of go is went, because of there is nothing, just we only have to memorize. Okay, and finally, and the most important thing is to mention the date or the time expression, like yesterday, last year. Okay, this is a vital in order to use the present symbol, and it will indicate that we have an event that happened in the past and finished, and it has a noun date. Okay, so this is an example of simple present simple tense. Let's imagine that we don't have a date here, but this action happened in the past. Okay, how am I supposed to modify the structure? We simply have to add here has or have, depending on the subject. If we use he as a subject, or Ahmed, okay, then we have to use has. If we use they or we, you, then we have to use have. And then for the irregular form, we need the past participle form, or the past participle uh, word, and then which is in this case is gone, and then delete, or we don't have to mention the date. So the sentence will be like, he has gone there. When? We don't know. Okay, so this is the difference between the present perfect and the past simple in terms of forming simple sentences. Okay, in terms of question, there is a difference here in the present perfect. Okay, in terms of question, we need for or at the beginning of each question a helping verb, which is did. Okay, that helps me to uh, make question in the present simple. Okay, so in this example, we have to put did at the beginning and then the subject, and bear in mind what did happen in the verb. Okay, look at the difference. So the difference here, if you use did as the question, we simply want to use the best form of the verb. Okay, we don't need to use went or put id at the end. We only need to put the main base of the verb, okay, without using suffixes at the end, like went or traveled. Okay, the main verb that can we see in the present uh, simple. Okay, so this is an example of a question. Did he go? If you use did in a sentence, it means we need either yes or no as an answer. Okay, let's imagine that we don't know the date of the time where he went. Okay, we need an open type of answers. Then we can use the question words like when. When is used if you want to ask about time. So the question will be, when did he go there? Here, if you use when, the answer cannot be as simple as just saying yes or no. Okay, when you need to give more details, like the answer here, like he went there in 2007. So this is the difference or the conclusion of using present perfect in sentences with the subject, verb, okay, and change it depending whether it was regular or regular. If it was regular, we have to put ed at the end. If it was irregular, we need to put the past form, okay, the past form, the past simple form of it. And finally, we have to put the date. If you want to form questions, we need to put it at the beginning and change the main verb from its past form into base form. Okay, yeah, if you want to use the negative, let's go thoroughly. For example, I, we, they, he, she went. Okay, the base form is go. Okay, to Madrid last year. Last year, for example, we are at 2020. Last year is 2019. Look at this simple sentence here. The incident means it. Okay, something is inhuman. Happened, ed, because the verb happen is regular. Last week. Okay, last week, for example, was the National Day. The negative, we would simply here, like in the questions, we need two things in terms of using the negative form. Okay, after putting the subject, we need to put did plus not. As we said before, don't forget that whenever you use did in the questions or in negative sentences, we need to change the verb into its past form. Okay, base form, like here. This is went, it's the past one. Its base form is go. Happened, okay. Look, we don't have ed because we have did. Okay, did indicates that we are talking about the past, so there is no need to put ed or change the verb into its past form. Okay, look at the difference between two sentences. So that we can use it in questions and in negative. So again, if you want to ask about question that requires short answers, we only need to use did at the beginning. And as we said before, after using did, then we have to put the subject of the sentence. And after that, the verb in its base form, like we can see in the dictionary, or if we want to use it in the present simple, and finally the thing that you are asking about and the time. Here we only ask about we're asking about whether this information is correct or not, whether he went to Paris or not. If we want more open questions or we don't know the date of this incident, we simply should have or should put at the beginning the word when. So the question would be as follows: when did he go to Madrid? So we have an example here of question and answer. When did the Russians launch Putin? Launched it. Okay, look to the difference between the two questions. Look to the verb. Okay, verb and question and the answer. In the question, we didn't put ed because we used did. While in the question, we had to put ed because there is no did here, and This is how the button works. Okay. So we have time expressions like the word ago. Okay, we can't say, for example, when did you, if you have question like that, when did you do your homework? You can't say before 4 days. This is incorrect and false translation of what we use in Arabic. In Arabic, we can say that before 4 years, but in English, we have to put the number, for example, three, then whether we are talking about days, years, weeks, 3 days, and then finally we have to talk about go. So it means before now, before 3 years ago in Arabic. So here an example phrases like 2 weeks ago, um, like the 13th of November, 5 minutes ago, you can put the time, okay? So all of these are time phrases today, yesterday, the day before yesterday, 2 days ago, 1 week ago. All of them indicate that we are talking about things that have happened in the past and finished. Okay, there's another way of instead saying of putting the date here, we can just put the years. Instead of saying this incident happened in 1985, we only simply put the date with a number here, for example, then the years, and then ago. Okay, so we have listening in number 6. We have a conversation, and we have to fill in the blanks what we hear from the listening. Okay, let's turn on the listening.
Unit 8, Recording 46. Hello, Electronic Repairs, Don speaking. How can I help you?
Hi, my name's Ben Jones. I've broken my MP3 player. Can you repair it?
Okay, sir. What's the model number?
It's a Super 30 GB.
And when did you buy it?
Let's see. Yes, I bought it on the 18th of August.
And what's the problem?
I've dropped it and I've cracked the screen.
And when did you crack the screen?
Yesterday.
Okay, bring it into the shop and I'll look at it.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, let's try to answer again. And bear in mind that we only need to fill in the blanks what we hear.
Unit 8, Recording 46. Hello, Electronic Repairs, Don speaking. How can I help you?
Hi, my name's Ben Jones. I've broken my MP3 player. Can you repair it?
Okay, sir. What's the model number?
It's a Super 30 GB.
And when did you buy it?
Let's see. Yes, I bought it on the 18th of August.
And what's the problem?
I've dropped it and I've cracked the screen.
And when did you crack the screen?
Yesterday.
Okay, bring it into the shop and I'll look at it.
Thanks. Bye.
So let's see.
Unit 8.
First one.
Recording 45. Unit
Okay, the first one. Hi, my name's Ben Jones. I've broken my MP3 form. So this sentence was in the present perfect. Why? Because we have subject, we have helping verb have that comes with I. We have the verb and its past participle form, and we don't have a date. We don't know when did he broke, when uh, has he broke his MP3 player. Can you repair it? Fix it means, okay, sir, what's the model number? It is over 13 GB. And when did you? So, as you can see, here we are asking about date. And if we are asking about date, then we should use the present perfect, present past simple. By. Okay, look to the word or to the verb by. Okay, by is like broken, but this is the present simple form. One and this one is the past participle form. Both of them have the same meaning. But if we use it, okay, we need to change the verb and put it as in its base form. Let's see, yes, I potted. Excuse me, it's incorrect. There's it means that pi is similar to the uh, meaning to pot. Okay, not broken. Sorry. So both of them have the same meaning, but pi is the base form, while pot is in its past and uh, past participle form. So all of them have the same meaning. Okay, let's see. For I've dropped it and I've cracked it. Again, the sentence is, or both of these sentences is in the present perfect. Why? Because we learned that if you show has or have in a sentence, okay, in addition to a verb with ed or a verb that is changed into its past participle form, and we don't have a date, then all of this indicates that we are using about or using the structure of the present perfect. And when did you? Okay, here he is asking about the date of this incident. As we can clearly see, in this case, we need to use the present past simple. When did you crack? Okay, crack. Look to this one. We we put ed, while in this one we didn't put. Why? Because we used did. So did indicates that we are talking about past and it is enough. Okay, let's go quickly to the exercises of the workbook of this lesson. So in this exercise, we need to make questions out of these fragments of sentences. Okay. Okay, let's see number 2, when you take off. Okay, once we saw when, then we are asking about time, and in this case, we need to use did. Okay, we only simply have to put did here. When did you take off? How travel into space? Okay, so here we have a date and an answer. Okay, but I need to know how he went there. So we simply use here the past simple. How did you travel into space? So we have a date here. So all of the following questions can be in the past simple. Okay, number 4. Again, did. Again, put the sentence as it is. Let's see 5. Also did. We'll have to put did here. Bear in mind, do is the base form, the present form. Okay, and in the past we simply change it into did. Nothing else. Okay, and finally you repair solar panel. Did you? This is a question. Did you repair the solar panel? When? Again, when did you? Again here, when did you? Look to the first. We didn't change it because we already used did. Okay, let's try to answer for these questions. Let's try to make question answers. And we have already we're given a date between the brackets. Okay. Look at number 2. When did you drop it? Okay, if someone asks you using the word you, it means that you have to answer using the subject I, and then you need to change the verb. The verb is regular, so we simply have to add ed. And because the last letters ends before or after a vowel, then we need to duplicate the last letter and add ed. I did drop it. Then we have to mention the date, 4 weeks ago. So for each one of these, we need to put ago. I dropped it 4 weeks ago. Again, look at number 3. I found the company 3 weeks ago. Bring. This is the main verb. I brought it into the service department 10 days ago. So this is irregular, and the irregular form of the verb is brought. When did you send? So this is the regular verb. I need to change it. I sent my email 3 days ago. When did you receive? We simply have to add d here. I received your bill 2 days ago. Finally, ring. This is irregular. Okay, irregular verb. This is the best form. We need the past form. I rang 10 minutes ago. So this is the word list of this unit. If there is ambiguity in understanding the lessons, you have to learn these words of this unit in order to be able to understand and fix this problem. So the word lists are divided into verbs, whether they were irregular and regular. So in the regular section, we only had to add ed in the sentence, so in each verb. While in this case, okay, we need to change them into its either past or past participle forms. Okay, we have nouns, okay, and finally phrasal verbs. Okay, for the word break, we have broke, burn, burned, buy, bought, cut, drive. There also is a past. the past simple form. Send, sent, speak, spoke, steal, stole. You want to use the past participle form. Here you have to put stolen, take, took, tear, tore, write, wrote. All of them require to be memorized. Let's try to complete this sentences in this activity. They put the insulation around the water pipe. Okay, as we said before, an item that covers the wire in order to protect people from getting an electrical shock. He climbed up to the top of the scaffolding. He broke the bricks with a sledgehammer. He put a hard hat on his head and started work. Hard hat is one of the safety equipment. The crane lifted the metal beam into the building. Crane is a vehicle that is used in order to lift heavy objects up into higher places. On the buildings, one of the builders drove the digger. Okay, digger is used to extract or make holes inside certain spots on the ground. He had an accident. He didn't put on his goggles. So goggles are a type of glasses that protect the eyes of the wearer from dust or any chemical that can harm the eyes. Finally, he stopped work, took off his dirty overalls. So this is type of uniforms that workers can wear in order to protect um, their bodies or their main clothes from getting dirt. Okay, so we finished unit 8, but before we end this lesson, we need to go through again, make a revision of this lesson. So we talked about today past events. I think that did happen and finish in the past, and we have the dates like the today lesson. Okay, we finished this lesson, but we only need to make revision as we always do. Okay, we'll learn the first things of each event from 1 to 10. So these are considered the main events that happen in our world. And then we talked about the past simple. And we said the main difference between the past simple and present perfect is whether we have a date or not. If we have a date, then you have to use the past simple. If we don't, then we have to use the present perfect. Okay? If we have a date, this is a simple example of a sentence in the past simple. We only need to put subject. One of these can be used as a subject like he, she, it, they, we, you, and we don't have to put helping verb like has, have, here. And then we have to put the main verb. And we said that some verbs are irregular. As a result, we need to learn and memorize its past simple form and its past participle form. What is important in this present perfect is to learn the past simple form. Like we said before, he went. We don't say he go, because if you say that, then the sentence structures changes into the past or the present simple. Okay, then we have an object, and finally we have to mention the date. Okay, if we don't have a date, as we said before, depending on the subject, we can use had or have, and then we change the verb from its past simple form into past participle. So instead of saying went, here we have to say gone. In terms of question, we said we need a helping verb, and the helping verb is did, and then we need to remove the verb from its past simple form into its base form. Okay, like the ones we can see in the dictionary. Did go, but we can't say did went. Did he went? This is incorrect. Incorrect. Did he traveled? So if you use only did, then the answer should be yes or no. If we don't have a date and we need to ask about the date of which this incident did happen, we need to use when. Okay, this is simple sentences as we said before. We went to Madrid last year. We have a date, subject, and verb, and it's past participle, past simple form. If we want to use the negative, which means something that did not happen in the past, we have to put did plus not plus the base form. So instead of saying went, we need to say go. So instead of adding ed in this verb, we have to remove it. Why? Because we use did. Okay, and again, if you require yes or no question or have an information want to make sure about its accuracy, then we have to use did plus subject plus base form. If we don't have the date or the time, then we can simply use when. Okay, we finished unit 8 as well as the last unit of this unit, last lesson of this unit. Hope to see you inshallah in the revision, the upcoming revision of this unit, including unit 7. Okay, hope to see you again, and thanks for your listening.